I studied the development of male and female antisocial behavior for a long time, and it's pretty obvious that female antisocial types, by and large, are less sort of impulsively criminal than males are, which is why there aren't very many females in jail. But that ability to denigrate and to gossip and to destroy reputation is much more characteristic of the female antisocial types, and they can be really, really good at it. And the frightening thing about that, too, to some degree, is that, male aggression of the physical sort doesn't scale worth a damn on social media, because you can't use physical aggression on social media. But the female pattern of antisocial behavior, which is reputation destruction and social exclusion, man, that scales like a charm on social media, especially because of what you described as the negative halo effect. And I really noticed this. I should be very resistant to that negative halo effect when I pick out my guests for my podcast, because I have had a lot of guests on my podcast, and now and then I talk to people who've been mobbed, excluded, or had their reputation damaged for one reason or another. And even when I know perfectly well that there's a high probability that they've been lied about and that they've been the target of this kind of malicious gossip, there's still a strong proclivity in me that I have to fight to overcome, not to assume something like, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. And you don't have to sully someone's reputation much before you raise the cost that other people need to bear to interact with them, right? I mean, we all have, in principle, thousands of people we could interact with. And so we're always looking for a reason, in some sense, not to interact with people. And if a terrible rumor has spread about someone, well, the cost to me to avoiding that person can be very, very low. But the cost to that person, if everyone avoids them, is unbelievably high.
Yeah, most people care about how a person treats them specifically, and they can overlook rumors often because the other person has treated them personally well. So that's a dynamic that works in the other direction to cut down on the negative effect of rumors and gossip, that sort of thing. Right,
assuming that you actually have that personal relationship. One of the things I've also seen as a consequence of virtualization, if I'm working with people virtually, and so we haven't established that kind of personal relationship, if any issue comes up that's negative, it seems to have a larger effect than it would if we had established a long-term, more personal face-to-face interaction. So as long as things are going smoothly, the virtual interaction seems to go well, but it's really easy for anything negative to be magnified. And I think it's partly because you don't have that buffer that you just described, which is maybe something like the evidence of repeated interactions face-to-face, evidence of repeated acts of kindness and so forth, so that you have that as a data body to offset the negative event against.
Yeah, right on all of those points.